Hello and welcome to episode number 11 of this podcast. Now today's episode is going to be about how to leave a bad eating habit behind, okay? How to move towards having a healthy relationship with food. The very first thing that I want to talk about is my experience and how I've transitioned, or I'm still transitioning into eating a clean diet. For me, I realised that I had a bit of a problem with eating bad food probably about five or 6 years ago. There was a couple of different things going on, and for me, I was mainly eating bad food because I wanted to switch off. I wanted to just forget about what was going on, and the easiest way for me at the time was to basically sit in front of the TV after work, forget about the day, and just start and eat, okay? I know a lot of people do this throughout the day, so it's always good to just register, your environment that you're in is always going to be a very big part of this. So if you find yourself eating when you're at home all the time badly, or you find yourself that you only eat bad food when you're at work, it's just important, or it's not important, but it's very useful to start and look at that and see how where you are and the people that you're surrounded by, that they will affect, what food you're eating. If you're being offered bad food religiously, it's way easier to say yes and indulge in that than if you're constantly being offered healthy food, So just remember that the people that you spend time around with, the place that you live, the place that you work, that will have a very big impact. And things like, do you just allow yourself to go to the supermarket and buy whatever you want? Bad stuff is going to creep in there because you're allowing your emotional side to make the decisions rather than sort of being conscious about all of this and then deciding beforehand that you are only going to buy what's on your shopping list because you know that the stuff on your shopping list is good food, it's healthy food, it's giving you energy, and then you're just way more likely to, when you go home, eat the food that you bought, And there's this great sort of, I was having a conversation with someone a long time ago on this topic, and they basically said that, if you're really serious about eating healthy food and kind of changing your diet, you will throw away all of your bad food right now. And if you aren't ready to get rid of all of your bad food, then there's something in the back of your head that is telling you that you're not ready to make this change. And sometimes you go through a process, I know I have, of being like, right, today's the day. And you throw all the bad food away, you get your work done, you blah, blah, blah. And then you come to that point in the day where the habit, the routine of eating bad food kicks in. And then that's when the battle starts. That's when you need to have made sure that you have organized your environment so it's much more likely that you're going to go and make a fruit salad or bake some healthy cookies that have got no processed stuff in. Make a healthy meal from scratch and listen to a podcast at the same time, because what you actually want is to relieve boredom, or you're trying to move away from a negative emotion. So it's understanding how you need to sort of set your environment up beforehand so that when that difficult time comes where you are having to fight against that you've already done the work to make it as easy as you can for yourself in that moment of being emotional or wanting to distract yourself or trying to escape something. So it's very important that you set yourself up for success in as many different areas as you can. And your environment is a huge one. Like I said, if you've got bad food in the house, if you live with people who are eating bad food and feel like it's normal to eat bad food, you're way more likely to just indulge when you want, rather than having that discipline and remembering why you decided that you're going to start and eat healthy. Along with your environment, I feel what really goes nicely with that is a support group, or just having a person that you can call. I've literally been in the circumstance before where I'm stood in a shop with food, bad food in my hand, and I call someone and I'm like, yo, I explain the situation, and they're just like, well, I can remember what they said. They were like, well, tomorrow when you wake up, are you going to be happy with yourself that you decided right now to buy that? And I was like, no, I'm going to be really upset with myself for doing it again. And they were like, well, there's your answer. And I was like, sweet. I put the bad food down, walked out the shop. And having that ability to just have somebody else give you the option to pull yourself out of being emotional, to pull yourself out of, oh, actually what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to forget about this stuff that's going on in my life. So what I'm going to do instead is go for a walk, or actually, do you know what, I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm going to do some breath work, or I'm going to go take a cold shower, or I'm going to ring a friend and get some support, all right? So for me, it's really good to have that set out before anything bad happens. Again, going back to what I said a minute ago, in terms of your environment, if you have a pre-planned person who you can speak to in these times of need, it's going to make you feel a lot more calm when that time arises. Because if you're stood in the shop and you're kind of freaking out about whether to buy this food or not, and you've not organised this conversation with somebody, anxiety is going to creep in about, are they going to judge me? Are they going to answer? All these questions are going to start to arise, which is then going to probably push you into buying the bad food more. Whereas if you organise with someone, and you might even be able to do this for each other, it's going to be really good if you can both say, right, individually and together, we're going to stop eating bad food. So whenever we need support, we're going to call each other. And it might be like a 5-second phone call, a 1-minute phone call. And when you've got that support network, it relieves some of the pressure. You know that you can go to someone, and it can really make the difference whether you stay inside your bubble and comfort, or whether you open yourself up and you're being vulnerable and you allow somebody to help you. So I think having the support network there, and however you feel like is going to be something which serves you, is going to be really, really important to making sure that you kind of stick to what you've decided on. The next thing which I've found to be very, very helpful for me personally is deciding on one bad thing that you're going to eliminate for a week. So let me give you an example. So for me, my trigger is sugar, okay? So I can eat a pizza once every 2 weeks. I can eat chips or french fries once every 2 weeks and not feel any need to want to consume any more. I can see it as a treat, whatever. Sugar, on the other hand, is my food that if I have a little bit of sugar, I want some more, and then I want some more, and then I want some more the next day. So for me, I knew that to do this as a long-term success, I need to eliminate sugar first and foremost. And the way that I did it was I eliminated every type of processed sugar. So basically everything apart from honey and fruit. I couldn't have, no sweets, no fizzy drinks, no cakes, crisps, chocolate, anything like that with any processed sugars in. And I could eat anything else I wanted. So for the first week, the first couple of days were quite difficult, but I could have a conversation with myself where it was like, right, well, you can't eat sugar, you can't eat sugar, but what we can do is we can eat a pizza. And I know that on the surface, that seems very backwards. However, there was a plan, because once I'd had a week without sugar, I'd created some space away from it, so I wasn't in the routine of eating it daily. And then once I had a week away from sugar, I said, right, well, now that's over there, and I can kind of forget about it because it's not right in my face from yesterday. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep sugar over there. I'm not eating sugar, but now what I'm going to do is I'm also going to remove gluten. So I can't eat any pizza dough. I can't eat any processed fries or chips. I can't eat any processed crisps. But what I can do is I can eat things like hummus and lentil crisps because they don't have any gluten in. I can eat things like a fruit salad. So this is where you start to then become more conscious to the foods that you're eating. And it's like, right, okay, well, I'm getting to that part in the day where I feel like I want something. Let's try and have a fruit salad with a little bit of Greek yogurt. Okay, that works because I've satisfied that internal kind of visceral feeling that my body wants food, but I've kept gluten and sugar out of the picture. So I've made progress. And I think just the first and most important week for me is removing the thing that you know is a trigger. So if it's alcohol, if it's pizza, if it's fries, if it's cake, remove that for 1 week and keep everything else. Because what that's going to do is that's going to give you a big enough challenge to realize that you need to take it seriously, but it's going to give you enough freedom so that you can actually do it for the full week. Because there's nothing worse than trying to do everything, surviving 2 days and then failing and you're back to square one. Whereas at least doing it this way, you're going to make a full week of progress. Cool, done. 2 weeks of progress. Cool, done. And then already you're going to start to see the results. You're going to feel healthier. Your sleeping's going to be better. You're going to be more alert and focused. Your memory's going to be better. Physically, you're going to feel more energetic. You're going to be better in the gym. all this kind of stuff. So what you've done is you've allowed yourself some space to feel the benefits, but you've not overwhelmed yourself, all right? So this was really, really like such a crucial turning point for me. When I tried this for the first time, it really changed everything. So that's probably the most important one if you really struggle with kind of having that first day and then giving up, and then having that first day and then giving up. It's like I said, it gives you the healthy balance of small, but you're actually going to see results once you've done it for a week or two. Okay, so the last one, and I feel like this is going to be something which is very good once you've started to create that space, or it's going to be something which is going to be really good to kind of create a foundation and a support for yourself over the long term, is learning how to make healthy, tasty food and scheduling in time to make sure that you've got that healthy, tasty food available for you. So for example, my absolutely favourite healthy dessert is pancakes. I freaking love pancakes, and I learned that you can make pancakes with 2 ingredients, eggs and banana, and that's it. You basically get 2 eggs, 1 banana, put them in a blender, blend them up, and then you've got your pancake batter. So what I personally do with it is I put a little bit of cinnamon in there, I fry the pancakes with coconut oil, and then I put almond butter and manuka honey on top of it with a chopped up kiwi. It's one of the sweetest things that you can ever eat, but there is 0 processed sugar in that. So for me, I don't consider that as really anything bad. Obviously, there is a very high amount of sugar in it, so if you are someone who is very fragile with sugar, it's probably something that I would avoid to start with, but I'm just giving you an idea. So another idea is that you can make a banana bread. So this is again something that I've done. So I used coconut flour, coconut sugar, obviously bananas and eggs, and I think that was it. There might have been a little bit of baking soda in there. You can throw some blueberries in there, and the fact that you're using flour and sugar from as much of an unprocessed source that you can. What you're doing is, say that you might have got actual bananas in terms of health there. You've then got the banana bread, which is down there, but then a cake is all the way down there. Well, if you're trying to be healthy, would you rather eat something down there or down there? If it's a choice of the two, if you're in that mindset of I need something sweet, or you need some food. If you've got banana bread at home, you can have a slice of banana bread. It's better than driving to the shop and eating a birthday cake. So it's about registering the facts that you are at some point going to need support, being okay with that, and not trying to fight the entire battle by yourself, because willpower alone doesn't work, and being in a situation where when you do need a little bit of support, you've got options there. You've spent the time on the Sunday or the Wednesday, and you've made a batch of healthy cookies, or you've made a batch of healthy banana bread, or you've got a 10-minute recipe that you can go and make these healthy pancakes, so that when you're in that thing of I want something sweet, you can have that something sweet, and then afterwards you're like, oh, I'm still on my healthy path. I've not broken it, because you were conscious to it and you set yourself up. And again, this is where it all starts to piece together. You've been conscious to the facts that you are going to need some help. You've set yourself up for success, which from the first point, your environment has changed, all right? So you've been putting work in to help your environment, so that when that emotional stuff crops up, you can support yourself from the work that you've already done. So for me, it's really a case of understanding how you work, knowing, do you really like a sweet breakfast? Do you really like a sweet treat in the afternoon? Are you stressed out at work, so you need to make sure that you remove all bad food at work as much as you can, because that's the place where you indulge. Taking food with you to work, so that it can be a case of I'm only eating what I have brought with me and nothing else, and being very decided on that before you go to work every day. Because what all of these small things are going to do is they move the needle towards the likelihood of you having another healthy day. And really, truly, and ultimately, it's the first week that's the most difficult. Because if you can start to structure in making these healthy options, if you can have, cook a healthy meal from scratch a few nights a week so you can take food to work, if you make a shopping list so that when you're in the shop, you're way more likely to only buy the good food. So then that translates to only having good food available at home. And when you are struggling, you've got these healthy foods or someone to call, someone to rely on. Again, it's all moving the needle towards just having a higher probability of being successful. And then really and truly, once you've been doing it for a few weeks, the benefits and the feeling of health and the feeling of wellness and the energy and everything to do with, you know, mental health can start to creep in terms of a much healthier way, because you've got some kind of a growth. You've seen that growth within yourself. Your energy is much better. And then I feel like momentum then takes over and you want to keep it because you've distanced yourself away from that negative eating pattern. You're moving towards a place of being healthy. That moving towards a place of being healthy, I found for me, starts to pull you, and you want to start and explore new recipes, and you want to start and, you know, fast a little bit more and go into all of the different areas that can come up. But you just need to understand that in order to move away from something which is kind of holding you, if negative food is holding you there, then it's going to require effort to break away from it, okay? But then once you've broken away from it, the momentum and the good vibes and feeling the benefits will really pull you towards. So that's it for today. Please drop any questions that you've got down below. If you have any amazing, super healthy recipes as well, please share them, because I'm sure that everybody would really like to get involved with trying these out. Peace and love, guys. Thanks a lot.